Hey everyone, welcome to the ranking. Here's my ranking of all the Mummy movies. Yes, this video is to celebrate the new Tom Cruise Mummy movie that just came out this weekend. Yes, I saw it. You check my review and you'll know my opinions on it, and I'll be talking about it during this ranking very briefly. And yeah, to celebrate that movie that came out, I thought I'd rank all the Mummy movies. And yeah, this ranking was very difficult to make, not because it was hard, because what justifies a Mummy movie? Because there's a lot of movies called The Mummy, or a lot of straight-to-DVD movies about the Mummy and stuff, so how do I rank the Mummy movies? Mummy movies have been existing since the 1930s. How am I supposed to rank every Mummy movie ever? So I just thought I'd do a very personal ranking. I'm just going to rank all the Mummy movies that I've seen, because there's like dozens of them, and I haven't seen all of them, but I have seen a lot. Again, I have Turner Classic Movies. I've seen a lot of the monster movies. A lot of them suck. But yeah, I still watched a lot of them, and I've seen a total of 10 of them, so I'll be ranking 10 Mummy movies. So yeah, be excited? Anyways, let's get to it. Here's the ranking of all the Mummy movies, all the Mummy movies I've seen, from my least favorite to my favorite. Get started at my number 10. My number 10 is a movie called The Mummy's Tomb. This is in 1942. This is when Lon Chaney was Karloff the Mummy, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about all these movies really quickly because I hate all of these movies. These are very dated, cheap-looking movies. Lon Chaney was never a good Karloff the Mummy. He was never Boris Karloff or Christopher Lee and stuff, and I really didn't like any of these movies. They all kind of mesh together. I always forget which one's which, but I have seen them all because one day I marathoned all the Mummy movies on TCM when they're playing the monster movies during Halloween season and stuff, and yeah. This movie is not very good. I think this is the weakest one because it's the cheapest looking and the ugliest looking and the longest one, I think. And yeah, it's just all these Lon Chaney Mummy movies absolutely suck, and they're like all my least favorites. Coming number 9 is The Mummy's Ghost. Yeah, this was 1944 Lon Chaney movie. Again, cheap-looking, dated, gross, ugly-looking, very unscary. There's no atmosphere or genuine scares, interesting characters. They're just very generic, cheap-looking, dated, ugly horror movies, and yeah, I can't stand any of them. Coming number 8 is The Mummy's Curse. Yes, the 1994 The Mummy's Curse. Once again, this is the very last Lon Chaney one I'll mention, but yeah, like I said with the other two, cheap-looking, dated, not well-acted, not scary, no atmosphere, no good gore or scares or intrigue, just really dumb, horrible horror movies, and yeah, I hate them all. Coming number 7 is The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Yes, the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, everyone's probably wondering, why isn't this your least favorite? Well, I really don't like the Lon Chaney Mummy movies. Yeah, some people actually really love the Lon Chaney horror movies. They consider them either guilty pleasures, or they just grew up with them. They're like, oh my god, they're so great. That's fine, I hate them, but yeah, that's fine. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor is a garbage movie. This movie's fucking terrible. It's awful. I am not a huge Mummy fan out of these the Mummy trilogy, but yeah, this one was really stupid. The effects were awful, the story was really stupid. It had to go to China now, it had to have a Chinese mummy for some reason, and to get Jet Li. Why Jet Li? Why? And Jet Li is so ridiculous and over the top in this movie, and most of him is CGI because he's like a creature mummy and stuff, and that's so dumb. And again, this movie has Brendan Fraser, and he's not a cool action star. And yeah, Rachel Weisz said no to this movie, so they got Maria Bello to play the mother, which was okay, whatever. The story wasn't good, the effects weren't good, the action wasn't good, it wasn't fun or exciting or campy or anything like that. It was just a really dumb movie. Coming number 6 is The Mummy Returns. The Mummy Returns, again, it's a really stupid movie. Yes, wow, yeah. Let's talk about the CGI on The Rock. Yes, the very ending climax of this movie, you get to see the Scorpion King, which is played by Dwayne Johnson, the very first role of The Rock, yes. And he's a big CGI scorpion. Probably one of the worst effects I've ever seen. It is absolute garbage. It's Mortal Kombat Annihilation kind of effects. That's how bad it is. And yes, this movie just repeats what the first one did. It brings back Emotep. But in this one, we follow Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz's son, and he's this little kid who's really annoying, and I hate when lead kids that can't act are like the main characters. Oh, it's so stupid. And yeah, John Hannah's back as Jonathan, and he's actually the best part of all these movies, and he's kind of funny at times. Brendan Fraser, again, tries to be the badass lead guy, and he doesn't pull it off. Rachel Weisz tries to have a character arc and actually be important in these movies, like she's the reincarnation of this person who was like an ancestor of all these like old Egyptians and stuff, and yeah, I barely remember, but yeah, really stupid, makes no sense, but whatever, and yeah. They even do a fake out death in this movie. They try to kill Rachel Weisz, but of course they bring her back and stuff. Deus Ex Machina style, and yeah, this movie's not good. It's not very interesting. It's not very fun to watch. It's longer than the first one, so it makes it even more painful to watch. They repeat a lot of the same things in the first one, so might as well just go watch the first one. So yeah, pointless movie. Coming number 5 is the 2017 Mummy. Yes, I just did a review of this movie, and you all know how much I loved this movie. I didn't. It wasn't very good. Tom Cruise was great. Russell Crowe was great as Dr. Jekyll. Sofia Boutella was pretty good as the Mummy. It's pretty cool to see a girl mummy. A couple good action scenes here and there, but all in all, it's still not a good movie. The storytelling's very generic. There's a lot of exposition. The whole supporting cast is really terrible. It's a waste of a Courtney B. Vance. Jake Johnson is absolutely irritating. There's a pointless love interest. All the movie is trying to build up to the Dark Universe, so it actually didn't focus more on the Mummy, just focused more on the Dark Universe, which is stupid because it's a Mummy movie. Focus on the Mummy. So yeah, not a terrible movie, but not a good one. Coming number 4 is The Mummy's Hand. Yes, The Mummy's Hand had Tom Tyler as Karloff the Mummy. This was in 1940. This was the first sequel to the great Mummy movie in 1932, which I'll be getting to soon, but yeah. This was actually pretty intriguing and kind of spooky in a weird way. It had a lot of mood and atmosphere, and I did enjoy Tom Tyler, I can talk. Tom Tyler was actually pretty good as the Mummy, and a lot of the characters were kind of over the top, but at least they were kind of memorable. They didn't give good performances, and the characters weren't very interesting, but they were at least memorable. Unlike the Lon Chaney characters, none of them I remember. They're all just very cliched horror characters, but it's when they were kind of silly enough to be memorable, and I didn't mind this movie. It had some spooks, had some atmosphere in it, and I actually didn't mind this movie. Coming number 3 is The Mummy. Yes, the 1999 Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser. Yes, this movie isn't good. It's not a very good movie, but you know what? There's a lot of people that have a guilty pleasure for it. They find it kind of a fun movie and stuff. You know what? I kind of get it. The Mummy Returns sucks. The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor sucks. But if you like this movie, I completely understand. There is actually a lot of moments of campiness and fun. This is the only one that actually Brendan Fraser is kind of enjoyable to watch. I hate him in the sequels, but he's kind of fun to watch. Jonathan, again, is the show stealer. He's pretty hilarious to watch in this movie. And I hate the villain Emotep. I hate that they brought him back for the sequel. He was just as generic and boring in this one. The movie tries to be kind of scary, but the PG-13 really takes away from the scares, and it makes it more cheap looking because they rely more on CGI, and CGI looks absolutely awful in this movie, but there's some pretty good action adventure, there's some good cheesiness and campiness to kind of make it fun and enjoyable. There's a lot of characters that are completely useless and they're just there to die. But yeah, there's a few characters I didn't mind. I didn't mind Brendan Fraser in this movie, and I did like Jonathan. Rachel Weisz is nice to look at, but yeah, the story doesn't really make sense, and there is a lot of predictability with the film, but a lot of people call it fun, guilty pleasure, and yeah, I can agree with them. Coming number 2 is the 1959 Mummy movie. Yes, this is one with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. This is a great film. This is when Christopher Lee played Karloff the Mummy, and this is when they remade the Mummy movies and the Dracula movies with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, and Terrence Fisher directed most of the movies. These are called the Hammer horror films, and yeah, Christopher Lee is fantastic in this movie as Karloff the Mummy. I enjoy the story, I enjoy the characters, I love the practicality, I love the silly over-the-top gore. That's the best thing about the Hammer horror films, and yeah, again, it's Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. They're like legendary actors, and yeah, this is just a great film. And my number 1 favorite Mummy movie is obviously the 1932 Boris Karloff Mummy movie. What else am I going to say that almost every critic hasn't said? This is a great classic horror film. If you love classic Frankenstein, Dracula, like Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, again, classic Wolfman or Invisible Man, this is a great film with great practical effects, great mood, great score. It doesn't have that CGI back in the 30s. It relied on atmosphere, tension, and score. And of course, a great performance by a legendary actor, Boris Karloff. What else did I say? The Mummy 1932 is one of the great classic monster movies, and it's the best Mummy movie. So yeah, that was my ranking of all the Mummy movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me what is your ranking of all the Mummy movies from your least favorite to your favorite. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.